The moment a state TV employee appears to disrupt a live bulletin on Russia's flagship channel before the network cut away to a pre-recorded report. Stop the war, don't believe propaganda, they are lying to you here, her sign reads.
To the woman who entered the studio of Channel 1, to those who are not afraid to protest, you must fight. You must not lose your chance.
With reports she's been arrested, the eyes of the world on Russia's every move.
We will not allow any country to compensate Russia for its losses.
After US newspapers reported that Russia had requested military and financial assistance from China,
the message coming from the Chinese Foreign Ministry was that it was fake news.
The US sent a warning.
Should they provide military or other assistance that, of course, violates sanctions or supports the war effort, there will be significant consequences.
As tensions between global superpowers mount, Russia's advance on the ground almost glacial.
They have a lot of people, a lot of tanks, a lot of their vehicles and techniques, but we fight in our land and we protect our families.
A convoy of civilians at last able to escape the burning ruins of Mariupol, where more than 2,500 soldiers and civilians have been killed, with reports of mass graves.
People are running out of water, electricity, gas for heating, access to medical services.
Among the dead, this woman and her baby, whose photograph, taken in the aftermath of a Russian attack on a maternity hospital last week, was shared around the world. More than 2.8 million people have fled Ukraine since the war began 19 days ago.
You don't know whether tomorrow you will live or be dead.
Desperate.
I'm fleeing with my child because I want my child to stay alive. The people that are there now are Russians, Russian soldiers, and they kill children.
Defiant.
These stupid Russian shrapnel pieces I will carry all my life. But as long as my heart still beats, I will still live and love.
Wow, 10 News First senior reporter Ursula Heger joins us now from Lviv. Ursula, an advisor to Zelensky has said the war should be over by May when Russia runs out of resources. What's the feeling on the ground there?
Well, good evening. I'm not sure a huge number of people would agree with him. There's still a lot of fear across Ukraine about just how far Russia is willing to go, in particular in relation to the use of chemical weapons. A lot of the theories holding at the moment seem to say that Russia will attempt to surround certainly the capital, Kyiv, and lay that city to siege, cutting off power, cutting off food supplies, cutting off water, essentially trapping all of the civilians there while they try to put pressure on the Ukrainians to surrender. Essentially, Russia, I think, will try to hold its position that it has and wait for backup supplies and backup troops. So this could certainly be an ongoing conflict.
So millions of people have fled. Where you are now, are people still wanting to leave and trying to leave, or are they, those who are they there to fight now?
Well, look, it's a mixture of both. So a lot of the men obviously can't leave. They are putting on a very brave face, and I think they are actually very brave here in Ukraine. They all seem willing to be a part of this cause. They all seem to realise that if they don't do it, that Ukraine will be no more. Their culture, their history, the things that they love are all at risk here. So they do actually seem really ready for the fight. Of course, there's a lot of women that are fleeing the conflict, especially with young children. In Lviv, we are seeing the city sort of continue on as normal, although there are air raid sirens ringing out just about every few hours here now, and that is certainly putting the jitters amongst the population here.
Today, Zelensky spoke in Russian to Russian troops, urging them to surrender. And the world is looking at him as a modern-day hero. What are Ukrainians saying?
Well, he certainly is beloved by Ukrainians on the ground here. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? A man who was a comedian who played the president has become the president, but he certainly has stepped up into this role. The pressure on that man must be absolutely extraordinary. I mean, he's in a situation here where Russia, while it is a slow creep, they are taking more and more ground. He's got cities like Mariupol that are being laid to siege. That is a wasteland at the moment, and there's still a huge number number of people trapped in that city. So I think he is beloved by his population here, and they are getting behind the words he says. You know, one thing about war is that it's also about messaging, about the propaganda, and certainly Ukraine has been on the front foot, messaging both to Europe and the wider world that they need help, but also within this country, saying that they can win, they can fight, they've just got to hold strong.
Ursula, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for everything you're doing over there. Great to chat.
Thank you.